Hey everybody, happy Friday. Today we are filming episode 9 of the Vancouver Condo Team's Real Report, and it will be with Nav Pal, who was on maybe I think the second or third episode. So we're bringing him back as a specialist with buyers. So excited to have him on here to talk with him about what it's like when you're purchasing resale properties. So we are into July now. Actually, just got the stats for June for the Real Estate Board of Greater from the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver for June, and sales increased 60 some odd percent. So definitely could see that in our daily work, but now to see it on paper, that's pretty awesome. So it looks like Nav is arriving. Here he comes.
Hey Kelly,
Hey Nav.
how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good. Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, no worries.
I just had to get a second cup of coffee in today.
Yeah, no problem. So
Uh,
your gym is open again?
yeah, gym's back open.
Yeah,
It's a limited capacity though, and you have to book
right.
yourself in through the timetable. So it's kind of awkward, but yeah, they're following all the procedures. And
Yeah, it's kind of nice though that you're like, okay, I have between this time and this time to go do my workout. So if
exactly.
around, I gotta be there,
Yeah,
gotta do it.
I gotta be there. I'm not. Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have gone this morning if I didn't have it in the calendar. But
Go.
so
Yeah,
there
it's
you go.
cold rainy day, so being inside is pretty nice. Right?
Yeah, totally. How's your week been?
Really good. So I was just saying before you came on, I was taking a quick look at the real estate board stats this morning for June.
Yeah.
And the number of sales increased like 64% this from June over May.
Well, really, I haven't had a chance to look at them. That's
Yeah, yeah, it just came out this morning, so I only briefly looked at it, but
hmm
I'll probably
That's,
have Chris on next week to delve into that. But
yeah,
yeah,
sounds about right though with the way things are going, especially for our team the last
yeah,
week.
exactly. Yeah, so like we've been seeing it in our day to day, but it's now to see that those are the stats across the board. That's pretty crazy. So
Totally, yeah.
things are moving. So
hmm
talking about buying.
Yeah.
So today, Nav is on here to help us talk about purchasing resale properties. So I think I was trying to remember, maybe it was episode 2 or so you came on to talk about pre-sales 101, where we just talked about tips for purchasing pre-sale.
hmm
So now today we're going to talk about resale. So for those of you who don't know, that means existing homes that are already built.
Yeah.
Um, so what I thought would be a good way for us to do this is just to start off by saying, okay, I'm a buyer. I'm excited. I'm ready to purchase a home. Now, what do I do?
Well, how much money do you have? That's the first question.
That is the first question.
And that's always what you want to determine before doing any kind of shopping or exploring the market. So the way you find that out is by going to a bank and asking for a pre-approval.
Yeah,
So a mortgage pre-approval
right.
is what you'd want to get before you do anything else.
Yeah,
So before you start looking at homes and, before you start interviewing realtors to work with, make sure you're a qualified buyer and you know exactly uh, what your budget is.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And
yeah,
also taking into consideration for when you have that meeting with the mortgage representative, it's not only the amount of money you can spend on a home, but knowing what you
hmm
need for your down payment as well.
yeah,
So it's do you have that money, and if you don't, what are the ways that you can get that money if you need?
exactly. And it helps your goal setting from the start, right? If you don't have enough of a down payment, maybe you can plan. Maybe now's not the time for you to purchase, and maybe you will have that down payment in a year's time.
Yeah,
Or maybe you look for something smaller if you're keen to get into the market. So that's really that conversation you have with the mortgage advisor
yeah,
is really going to steer kind of the direction that you're going to go when you're looking for
definitely.
your first home or your next home.
Yeah. And so, some mortgage advisors are really great too, in that they may have had some experience with financial planning. I know one I
Hmm.
work with, Katie McKenzie does, so she can kind of set a plan for you in case you need to save more or save in order to buy a house, or maybe just in the meantime while between you've written your offer until you move in, saving in that way too. So
Yeah,
very important.
that's helpful too.
Yeah.
For sure. And Chris always uses this analogy on our team. He says you don't want to go to the grocery store without knowing how much money you have to spend on food.
Yeah.
And it's the same with house buying.
Yeah.
And I actually had this trouble with some clients recently who were my friends, and they started viewing homes and open houses and loosely entering into the process without getting a pre-approval. And now they've set their expectations so high,
Yeah.
and we finally got around to getting them pre-approved last week, and kind of 300K above, below what they were hoping to explore. So it leaves a bitter taste to start the process, and you want to make it a stress-free process as possible. So
Yeah.
having that is very important. There's other costs to consider as well when buying a home. So it's not just the maximum. So it's not just the price of the home. You also want to consider property taxes and utilities,
Yeah.
and other costs. And a mortgage pre-approval will encompass all of those costs.
Exactly.
So you know exactly how much you're paying monthly,
Yeah.
and you don't want to be house poor.
You got it.
So yeah.
So now
Uh,
I know how much I can afford. What's
mhm.
our next step would be to find a professional to help you find that home you can afford.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
how would I find a realtor, Kelly?
yeah. So step two, find your realtor. So there are many avenues. Obviously, a lot of people choose the realtor by referral. So whether that comes through friends, family, coworkers, or what have you.
Hmm.
Because that's the best way to understand who you're going to be working with, someone who's already had an experience with them. Um, so, you can trust them and hear about their great experience. Um, you want to ensure that this person knows the area that you're looking at, so that they're a specialist in your area
Yeah.
or the various areas you're looking at. But I think another great way to, when you're choosing your realtor, is to, creep them.
Yeah.
Create them online.
Yeah.
You can get to know them by looking at their online profiles. So their website, their social media profiles.
Instagram.
Uh,
Yeah. All that good stuff.
yeah, exactly. So those are all things that can help you determine who might be the right fit for you to work with.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, I'm always going to promote that we have a great team of realtors who all kind of have their own strengths,
Hmm.
and that's with areas, property types, and things like that. So,
Yeah. And
so
we lean on each other for help as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So working with a team is also a great thing to look at, because you have more than one person working for you.
Yeah. And then it depends on your preference and how comfortable you are as a home buyer as well. If you're an experienced buyer and
Hmm.
you're looking for the best possible deal, then maybe you're looking for an experienced realtor that knows the market very well. If you're a first time buyer, you're a little more um, you're a little more shy and a little more nervous about the process. Maybe you want a newer realtor that doesn't have a lot of clients
Hmm.
to work with, so you know that they're going to be solely working for you.
Yeah.
So that's also, when I started, that was my pitch anyway. That
Yeah.
I won't be working with many other people, so all my attention's focused on you. And some people like that.
Yeah. That's
Um,
that's a really interesting point. And
yeah.
also for somebody that's newer too, they're super eager to learn. So even if
Hmm.
while you're going through the process, they might not know every answer, which it's hard for everyone to know every answer anyways, because every property is different, every city
Yeah.
is different. But someone who has the ambition to learn and work through that with you is key.
Yeah. Yeah. Ambition being the key word, I think.
Yeah.
Someone that's going to work hard for you is always important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then one more thing I wanted to touch on that actually, for finding your realtor is in BC, you can look at the Real Estate Council's website,
Yeah.
put in the realtor's name, and it will tell you if they have any outstanding issues that you may need to know about.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's sorry, I'm just trying to minimize these notifications.
For
I
sure.
don't know how to use this.
Yeah, that comes under the creeping phase.
Yeah, so I mean, do they still have their license? That will be on the Real Estate Council's website. You know, and again, are there any pending litigations?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure you have a trustworthy person that you're working with.
Definitely. Yeah, and their intention isn't elsewhere on legal suits or whatever, what have you.
Yeah. So now I've found my realtor. So now what do I do with this realtor?
So now you found your realtor, then hopefully your realtor's coaching you to come up with your search parameters. So now you have a budget, you have a realtor, and now you can start planning the fun stuff really, which is, you know, viewing neighborhoods, viewing open houses that fit your criteria.
Yeah.
But before you do that, you want to outline a criteria. So the first thing I would do with my clients is come up with a list of not have your nice to haves, like 5 items on your nice to haves list, and 5 items on your must haves. So that could be anything, you know, you want a large yard that's private, that could be on your must haves. A kitchen island, for example, could be on your must haves list.
Yeah.
So come up with that, and then use that as a blueprint moving forward through the rest of your home search, because then it gives you something tangible to look at when you go and view properties. You're never going to tick all those boxes, but you know that the property that eventually does tick most of those boxes is probably the one to go for. So,
and that's an important thing to note too, that things may change during your search. So you have all these wants and needs, and you're not necessarily, like you said, going to tick all the boxes. So it's understanding that you might need to be flexible at a certain rate, what ones are the most important for you, and where you're able to negotiate a bit.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's step 3, determining your search parameters with your realtor. So step 4,
and also with your realtor, sorry, on that point, just come up with I like to come up with a 5-year and 10-year plan for where you're living. It can be quite difficult to think that far ahead at times, but that's going to have a big impact on the type of home you purchase. You know, if you're planning to grow a family within the next 5 years, because 5 years is kind of the minimum length you want to plan for when owning a home, so you don't come, so you're not hit with fees like property transfer tax and other fees like that in too short of a space of time. You want to spread those out, so you always want to see where you anticipate where you're going to be in the next 5 years, and plan for that. You know, maybe you need more space, and maybe you need, you know, certain pet restrictions might not matter now, but you know, down the line they may matter to you. So consider those and plan for the long term, I would say. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, real estate traditionally is a long-term investment. So a lot of people have gotten wrapped up in the past 5 years or so about, you know, quick flips and everything.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's not always realistic. So it's important to look for the long-term goal, for sure. Cool. So after that, your realtor will set you up, well, in this area of trading real estate, we call it your collaboration site. So it's where any property that match your criteria will go onto this site, and you can review them.
Yeah.
Make notes. Select which ones are your favorite, which ones are possibilities, which ones you're gonna reject. So at this point, this is where all of your, and this is a little bit newer during COVID, is where you're going to be doing lots of online research.
Yeah.
So when you see a listing that looks interesting to you, you're going to be looking at the floor plans, the photos, of course, as usual. You're going to look at any other content that they've provided. So 3D tours, video tours. If they have a virtual open house, that's a really great way because you can live ask the realtor questions while you're going through the virtual open house.
Yeah.
You're going to want to do Google Maps. So, do the, what do you call it?
The satellite.
The satellite
image of the neighborhood.
The street view. So you can go up and down the street, see what the neighbors look like.
Yeah. Or drive by there if it's close by, just take a walk. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Walk the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then another great online source is realtor.ca. So realtor.ca is, if you go to the listings on there, then they have neighborhood stats to learn about demographics, jobs, walk score, and all of that. So another awesome online tool to understand the property and its surroundings.
Yeah, and then have your realtor speak with the listing agent as well if you're really interested, and then get all those qualifying questions out of the way before you view the property. It's usually the last step you want to take, especially with the pandemic going on. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so once you've done all that work and you tell your realtor, I'm really interested and all of this looks good to me, that's when you set the tour and tour the properties in person.
Yeah, the fun stuff.
That's the exciting part.
Yeah.
So those are kind of our steps for when you decided you're going to look for a house. You're going to get your mortgage pre-approval, understand your financing situation. You're going to find your realtor. You're going to sit down with that realtor and review what your search parameters are, your wants and needs and everything.
Yeah.
Or you're going to do all of your online research. And then at that point, step 5, you're going to tour the properties.
Yeah, totally. And it's all about creating a stress-free process, which the realtor should help you do.
Yeah.
But the more research you can do in advance, getting a pre-approval in advance is only going to save everyone's time.
Yep.
And time equals stress when it comes to purchasing homes. So the more you can save, the better.
You bet. Yeah. Just get yourself ready for that point where you're ready to make an offer.
Yeah.
Now that information will be saved for a future.
Yeah, writing offers. Yeah, we could talk a long time about offers. So yeah, I think we'll save that one.
Yeah, we're going to save that one. That's going to be the next episode where I'll bring Nav on and we'll talk about that.
Sweet.
So cool. Yeah, that's great information. I think that's a really good starting point for people who are thinking about purchasing real estate in the resale market. Any final thoughts?
Don't be afraid to buy real estate. Don't be afraid to dive into the process. You're only going to learn. And the worst case, you walk away, with more knowledge.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's all a learning experience.
Yeah.
And you make sure you're working with a team of people, from your mortgage to your realtor to your lawyer, whoever that's going to support you, and just make sure that you're protected during the whole process.
Totally. Yeah.
Cool. All right, sweet.
Okay, Kelly.
Well, thanks so much for coming.
Good chatting.
Yep, absolutely. And have an awesome weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
Catch up soon.